Welcome to KRA's The Hub, the official podcast of KRA Corporation. And now get ready to hear workforce topics and trends you need to know on the go.
Well, welcome back to KRA's The Hub. This is Jonathan Overall, the host of KRA's The Hub podcast. Today, I am kicking off a new series here at KRA as we start a new program year here in 2025. We're doing a series on getting to know KRA, and I'm going to be joined by some of my colleagues within KRA, some of our corporate leadership, to talk about some of the key areas of who we are as a company, the business, and how that impacts the work that we do. And so today we're starting within that series a theme on people and principles within KRA. And I'm joined by my colleague, Kalandria Thompson, as well as Ryan Rand. And Kalandria is the manager of people and culture, and Ryan is the manager of development and engagement with KRA. So Kalandria, Ryan, welcome to the Hub.
Thank you, Jonathan. So excited to get to connect with you today. Looking forward to our conversation.
Hi, Jonathan. Thank you. I'm looking forward to talking about all these great aspects of KRA.
Wonderful. Well, let's jump in. I want to hear a little bit from both of you about your professional journey, your current role at KRA, and what really inspires you in your work. Let's start with you, Kalandria.
I have a background primarily in management and leadership, kind of where I have always lived and dwelled. I've done it for retail spaces. I've also done it in the service industry, and then now in the public space, as well as now workforce development. So I've been with KRA now a year and a half. Super excited about my journey here as I continue to learn and grow with KRA. But HR has been a passion of mine. I love the idea of being able to assist people in their professional journeys, but also being a resource and an ally for people as they navigate the workspace. So that is what drives me to continue in this field, workforce development. I was new to that particular sector, but upon reading more about KRA, learning more about the services that we provide and how KRA affects the community, really spoke to kind of like just my own personal internal passion and desire for assisting people. And I couldn't pass up an opportunity to join a company that has kind of that ultimate feel good mission of assisting those who may not be in the best position to assist themselves at that time. So that is what keeps me coming back every day. I continue to enjoy this work. And like I said, look forward to continuing my journey here.
That's wonderful. And Ryan, a little bit about your background and the work that you do and what inspires you.
Sure, absolutely. Well, before KRA, I had spent about 10 years in the healthcare industry leading up to COVID in 2020. And I spent lots of time in healthcare in various roles, but my primary reason for getting involved in that industry was the fact that it can make a difference on individuals and those in the community that I was in as well. So I've always wanted to work in an industry in a position that I felt like made a real difference to those that were involved with the work that we do. Leading into COVID and the few years after, I came to KRA in about 2021, and similar to Kalandria, I wasn't very aware of the workforce development industry. I've heard from a lot of others in the space that something a lot of us have in common is sort of falling into the industry, and I've never been so happy to have such a surprise in my workplace that this is an incredible industry that, as I said before, really makes a difference on those that we touch in the community. And with that purpose and the fantastic people in KRA, that's what's kept me here since 2021.
That's great. Thank you for sharing that, Ryan. This next question, Kalandria, I want to addressed to you, and it really addresses culture. And that's part of the title of your role in the department, people and culture. And culture is important for companies. I know when I joined KRA just over 10 years ago, it was the culture of the local team that I joined here in California, but it was also the company culture that really resonated with me. When it comes to the principles that really influence that culture, knowledge, responsibility, and achievement are part of the website, part of the principles that are promoted through KRA. In your role and in what you've seen in your experience with KRA, how do those principles help to shape the culture of KRA as a company?
Absolutely. That is a great question. So one of the things that, particularly stood out for me with KRA was the amount of emphasis they put on their employees and how much they pour into the staff to make sure that they are um, given all of the opportunity as well as the support to do the work that we do. This particular industry is a tough one. There are a lot of tough stories that these staff are hearing every day. So knowing that you have a company who is invested in providing you not just your typical benefits of, your health insurance, your paycheck. They're also pouring into your educational growth. Part of what we highlight is making sure that our staff have all of the educational opportunities to continue to grow both personally and professionally. With that emphasis, that is how we are able to continue to carry out the expectations of the services that we provide to our clients. It is also how we make sure that because we are in an industry where our goal is to get people working, get people in careers that are, going to take them to the next level. In order for us to do that, we have to be as knowledgeable as we can and understand the different areas of workforce, making sure that we know how to guide our clients through the trainings and the development that they need so that they can find their next opportunity. The other, part about responsibility, we are handling people's, most personal and sensitive situations. We are, responsible for a large, part of their private lives and in some scenarios. So we have to make sure that we understand the responsibility that we take on, and we make sure we teach them about how to handle, personal private information, making sure that again they have the resources and the systems that they need to make sure that they can take care of and are responsible for all of the information. But not only that, they're responsible for making sure that they have the understanding of the part that they play in guiding the clients to the next step. So and achievement, of course, as a company, we always want to make sure that we are doing our best. We're giving 100% and then some. So, part of the history and the culture of KRA in and of itself is the things that they have achieved as a company through the way that they have invested in their staff, and they continue to develop and pour into them to make sure that we are reaching our goals and achieving all of the things that are set in front of us as a company. So I think with those principles, it's important for us as a company to make sure that if those are tall orders, those are, some big shoes, some big goals that we have set for our staff. So it is only right that we make sure that we provide them, all of the resources that they need in order to achieve those goals. So I appreciate that that is the kind of like the foundation of the company in and of itself, and it guides how we, interact, how we engage, and how we support our staff.
Yeah, you hit on that key there. The work that's done, having those guiding principles as part of the culture really helps the staff and all of the leadership strive towards a common goal, but also consistency over time. We think about what's the foundation of the culture. For 44 years, KRA has been a company, and it takes guiding principles for that to be consistent over time. Ryan, I want this next question for you to dive a little bit more into the people element. Now, Kalandria talked about that and how that intersects with the principles of the company. But as people are a priority, tell us a little bit more specifically some of the things that the company does, the people and culture department, in investing into employees and developing them and really taking a holistic look at their health and financial wellness. And how have you seen that investment show up in the culture in terms of impacting recruitment and retention?
Absolutely. Absolutely. That's a great question, Jonathan. At KRA and in our people and culture department, it's very important for us to support employees in, as you said, a holistic kind of way. We're really in the type of day and age where most people don't want to show up for just a paycheck. They want to really find a position in a company that supports them in a variety of ways, not just in that financial stability at work, but also in their development to get to that next stage of their career. In addition to that lifestyle, that wellness, those things at home, those things that help us be healthy and happy beyond those kind of typical work aspects. So when we look at culture and that kind of support at KRA, we really support the employees in various areas in the hope of building that full support below them. So no matter what the issue is that they're having, what the concern is, what the struggle is, they have support, they know who to go to, and they know that KRA will be behind them. So in terms of our employee development, is one of my favorite things to talk about, the things that are available for our employees at KRA. Some of our employee benefits in terms of development are our opportunities like our tuition reimbursement funds and professional affiliation funds. Each employee has a set amount of funds that they can use each year to continue college classes or get a certification of their choice, or really just put into that tuition and formal education of their choice. And then we have those professional affiliations as well. At KRA, we really believe in learning from everyone. We believe in internal learning and development, but we love bringing in outside influences, outside experts, and we encourage our employees to go find those resources and those experts themselves. So we want to make sure the employees have funds, have resources to be able to go in search of those affiliations or resources, mentors, education that will really help support them in their career journey. In terms of our internal education and development, we have a few opportunities that I love for our employees to get involved in. We have our online learning center platform, which is of course available 24/7. It's where we have really specific education for our employees and their roles, in addition to our live learning events, our town halls, all of those for years are uploaded to our online learning center so that employees can really understand KRA long term and get updated on any info, any education that the company wants to provide. But we also love to help employees get connected to those other types of education internally within the industry. For example, in the last year, the business services team within KRA, that is the national team across our projects, came together to attend NODUP's Business Services Academy. Also, our career coaches nationwide came together virtually to attend the NODUP Career Coach Academy. Both were incredible opportunities for our teams to be able to not just come together themselves from across the nation, but also to connect with others in the industry. And of course, with NODUP as a fantastic resource within the industry. And specific to other types of training, like leadership training, we have our Leadership Edge boot camp, which we hold twice a year in the fall and in the spring. This is usually a 3-day intensive program where KRA leaders and executives and the P&C department really focus on helping leaders develop in those areas that they want to, that they've identified, in those areas that internally we want to see our leaders develop, and in those ways that the industry is demanding. Our industry is always changing, especially now. And so our leaders, it's really a priority for us, for our leaders to be able to adapt and really change with our industry as it comes. Other areas that we look to support our employees with health and wellness, we find it's so important for a holistic wellness approach, physical, mental, and financial wellness. All of our employees have a lifestyle wellness account. I will say personally, this is just the coolest benefit I have ever seen. I've never seen this at another company, so I think it is so cool. It's a lifestyle wellness account. This is an account for every employee to be able to spend a little bit of money on things that will support their wellness, things that will keep them well, their families well. We also have partnerships and connections with companies like Cigna and Empower, which both provide financial learning opportunities and wellness learning opportunities that we help connect our employees to as well.
That's great. Thank you for that overview, Ryan, of really giving us an insight into some of the programs and initiatives that KRA has for its employees, from development to wellness, and really taking that holistic approach towards supporting the staff. Kalandria, I want to talk to you about KRA's approach to bringing talent into the organization, and describe for us KRA's approach within workforce development. I know that there's a broad array of different types of roles that your department oversees for the recruitment and onboarding of new staff. What is that approach, and what are some of the general qualities that you would say are prioritized in that process?
As a company, we utilize several resources. I'll just start there in our recruitment efforts. So, of course, we have our own ADP platform where we are posting our jobs and getting those out to several different job boards. We also utilize any job boards within our projects that maybe have job boards where we can get, kind of more community based talent, as well as making and using LinkedIn searches, where we are able to, of course, search the vast resumes and candidates within the LinkedIn community, where we can be more specific and targeted kind of in the skill sets that we're looking for. So some of the things that I think work best within KRA, and some of the qualities that we try to prioritize. Of course, you want people with experience. So those who have been in the workforce development industry before, who, have a familiarity and understanding with this type of work is always going to be a big plus. Outside of that, you need somebody who has, strong communication skills, because of course, the crux of a lot of the work that we do involves being able to communicate. You want somebody who has the ability to connect with not just their coworkers, but the clients as well. You want somebody who can understand kind of where people are, meet them where they are, who have, that kind of natural desire to assist and help and aid. But also some who are familiar with, just kind of like the workforce industry, in sense of understanding what skill sets are needed for certain jobs, who have, some understanding of the labor market, somebody who is comfortable like having, very personal, in-depth conversations with our clients, but also those who, connect with, who know how to connect with people across, various demographics. So those are some of like the important things that we kind of look for when we are talking about, skill sets that will work best in this particular company. Somebody who is always willing to learn more, to do more, who can, keep up with how the times are changing, because we know with technology, everything moves quick, fast. You kind of have to have a self motivation to continue to learn, to develop and grow. Um, as we continue to support you having that natural desire to continue to learn, develop, and grow. So those are some of the things that I think are qualities that'll work best with in KRA. Leadership skills also. This is an industry where it's almost like running your own business. I think, Jonathan, we've had this conversation, in the past. This is like running your own mini business. So if you're a leader within this company, you kind of have to have some of those natural leadership, entrepreneurial skills, that where you are willing to take what is being asked of you and figuring out your own kind of natural game plan of how you're going to attack this goal. Being able to create kind of this business model that is going to ultimately lead you to that, the ultimate goal, or to that return on, your investment. So a lot of basic qualities, but also just kind of a little more natural leader, somebody who is a get up and go getter. Entrepreneurs are always ones who kind of have that self motivation, who are willing to drive their own bus at their own speed. Those are qualities that will work well in this industry.
I'm glad you brought that up, Kalandria, because it takes me back to over a year ago. We did a series with some former KRA leaders, and they talked about just the time they spent here at the company, how it prepped them for what they're doing now within the workforce industry. And it was the development, it was the experience that they had on a day-to-day basis. And I think one of the common threads were the qualities that they all had that drew them to KRA, and the culture, the environment allowed them to foster and to grow in those skill sets. And so they all attributed their experiences here in a positive way to what they're now doing, and they could look back and talk fondly about those experiences. I want to kind of parlay that into this next question for you, Ryan. In that development space, you talked about Leadership Edge. You talked about some of the platforms like the Online Learning Center that KRA offers internally for all employees. What would you say are you're most proud of in the work that you do in development professionally, as well as leadership within KRA? Some of the themes that you feel have had some of the most impact during your time here with KRA?
That is a great question, Jonathan. I would love to point out two of the programs that we have added to our internal development over the last year or so, and an achievement from multiple individuals on our staff that I am so proud to be able to talk about. Number one would be the Certified Workforce Development Professional Certification, the CWDP. This is granted through NADUP, and we are very happy, very proud to say all of the KRA leaders, project managers, project directors, senior leadership, executive leadership are certified workforce development professionals with NADUP. This is something that we found to be a priority for us in the development of our leadership team over the past year or so. It's very important for us that those that are leading the teams that are helping those in the community really understand the work that entry-level staff is doing, that our leaders from project management to senior executive leadership have that understanding and those fundamentals of not just the work that we do, but the industry, the customer service, the importance of the work, and the experiences that our on-site employees are seeing, those that are really hands-on in the community. Kalandria mentioned earlier that a lot of those that we're working with are sometimes in some of the worst spots in their lives. We are those people who can really be coming in and dealing with some of those most sensitive situations. And we have very much prioritized in the last few years, making sure that our leaders understand who in the community they're helping and those in our team that are helping those in the community. Another fantastic accomplishment in the realm of learning and development internally that I would love to share is that our entire leadership team at KRA has also become certified as mental health first aiders with the National Council of Mental Wellbeing. This is also an ongoing process that new leaders obtain this certification as they join the KRA team as well. And right along those lines of what we were just discussing in terms of understanding the people and the communities that we're serving, we found that our leaders within KRA need to have that foundation of mental health education. So that education comes with de-escalation education. It comes with education on how to have those difficult questions with an employee that a leader may not know how to have. They may not know how to identify when employees have had too much and they're close to having a personal concern or issue, or where a mental health problem may be escalating. Creating this foundation in our leaders of that mental health first aid and that certification of workforce development professionals has really become invaluable within our leadership in the company. We see these as foundational requirements for being able to lead, not just within the industry, not just internally, but within those communities that we're serving as well, to really be able to give the best to our job seekers, to our partners, and to our employees.
So Kalandria, Ryan, as we come to a close in today's conversation, I want to talk about employee engagement. I'm going to kick this first question to you, Kalandria, in your role, some of the initiatives and your approach to ensuring that employees are seen and supported through the company, and your approach to that on a daily basis.
Some of the things that are most important is making sure that the employees understand that they do have a voice, and reminding them that, we have kind of like that open door policy, especially when it comes to, leadership and then PNC. We definitely want to remind them that we do want to hear from them, and then, of course, offer up, ways that they can contact us, making sure that we are following up when they do reach out to us, and ensuring that they are getting, their questions answered, or we are addressing whatever concerns that are brought our way. Other ways that we offer them opportunities to provide feedback, of course, are going to be through various surveys. Each year we do our annual employee engagement survey, where we offer them opportunities to kind of, just give us a full overview of their experience here at KRA, kind of how have things gone over the time that they've been here. It addresses, just kind of every aspect of their time here, not just talking about, the typical benefits, are you satisfied with those things, or, your pay. We go, beyond that. We're talking about your leadership. We're talking about, things as minute and as small as, do you feel like your orientation, suited your needs? Did you feel like you were provided all of the support that you need to do your job? Various things like that. Would you recommend KRA as an employer? Because we truly want to know how you feel on every level of your experience here at KRA. We also do surveys like in the first 30, 60, 90 days that also kind of break down where they are, or what they should have learned, or what they should have, known about the company at those various stages of their, employee cycle. So we ask them, questions after 30 days, after 60 days, after 90 days, just as another way to give them that, that voice, that opportunity to share, and also a chance for us as a company to change the trajectory of their experience at those stages. Of course, our ultimate goal is that we want, every employee to feel valued. We want them to feel heard and welcomed. And we also, want to make sure that they know that it is not a one-way conversation. You are at any point, at any time, given the opportunity to speak up, to speak out, to share with us, good, bad, or indifferent, where you are and what you need from us as a company. So we do try various ways to make sure that they know that, you are a priority here. We do want to hear from you because their satisfaction is what ultimately equals to the company satisfaction, which then, of course, trickles all the way down to the client satisfaction. So we do try to really hone in and making sure that they understand that we want to hear from them. We give them many opportunities, including even, our quarterly town halls that we have where we get them connected with the leaders and we give them opportunities to ask questions, whether that be want to speak out or you just utilize our, team's chat function. So there are so many opportunities that we try to make sure that they know that they are being heard and that we do support what they are, interested in, as well as we support what matters to them, and then ultimately empowering them to be the best versions of themselves because they know that when they come to work, we care, and it's not always just about what we can get out of them, but as much as what they can get from us and how we can make this a mutually beneficial relationship.
Thank you, Kalandria. And Ryan, to you as we close here, I wanted to hear if you were to summarize the Employee Engagement Committee and how you're working to foster that sense of community within KRA.
So the KRA Employee Engagement Committee came about through the last few years looking into how to really support employees in the way that they want to be supported. So our Employee Engagement Committee is the title for a sort of employee focus group within the company. So that group of employees is a voluntary group for employees that are nationwide. We meet virtually, and the primary goal of this group of the EEC, as we call it, the Employee Engagement Committee, is to foster that sense of belonging and inclusion for employees company-wide within KRA. So we look at how to hold events, engagement opportunities, things that can help employees connect to each other and connect with the company as a whole, no matter where they are, and something that they can do while at work. And in P&C, before we had the Employee Engagement Committee, we would certainly do our best to create a lot of those opportunities ourselves and to try to figure out what would be best for the employees. And we found that asking the employees how they want to engage, asking them what they want to do is the best way to learn what they want to do. So this group is just a fantastic, absolute priority for P&C in terms of engagement and the culture within the company. This group of employees they're individuals within the company that have their ears open within their projects, that are on the ground, on site with their colleagues, really listening and hearing what employees need and what they're missing. And then they come back and they sit with us, they talk with us, they brainstorm as a group what we can do monthly, quarterly, yearly to help employees feel like they're part of a family at KRA and to really help them feel supported company-wide and nationwide.
Thank you, Ryan, for that and giving us some insight into the Employee Engagement Committee, as well as the work that you're doing within KRA, and Kalandria as well. Thank you both for taking us behind the scenes at what it looks like in the People and Culture Department, focusing on the principles of KRA, ensuring that is consistent in all aspects of new hires, development, as well as engaging employees. So want to appreciate you for joining the Hub and kicking off this series of Getting to Know KRA. And we'll look forward to having you guys again on the Hub podcast. Thank you both.
Thank you for listening to KRA's The Hub. Don't forget to subscribe to the podcast on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you listen to podcasts. To learn more about KRA Corporation, visit www.kra.com. Thanks so much for listening, and we'll be back soon with a new episode.